Tennessee Titans rookie edge rusher FEMI OLADEJO did not play poorly against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The haters just don't know ball. And I'm going to show you what I saw on tape in today's film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans. Titans fans, welcome into another film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans, your home for Tennessee Titans X's and O's. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, 25 years as a Tennessee Titans fanatic. I've covered the team for USA Today, Sports Illustrated, and hosted the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast, Locked On Titans, for now 7 seasons. I'm also a certified film junkie, breaking down the X's and O's with you guys all year long for free here on the Tic Tac Titans channel. So make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. On today's episode, we are going to take a look at FEMI OLADEJO, Tennessee Titans' second-round pick. He's an edge rusher transitioning from off-ball linebacker at the college level. A lot of Titans fans are freaking out, calling him a bust, saying that he played awful, but I think there's a misconception about what technique the Tennessee Titans were trying to execute and FEMI OLADEJO's place in it. So we're going to take a look at those plays that were perceived as bad plays for FEMI that I don't agree with. We're going to take a look at some of the plays that I do think were bad for FEMI that show where he needs to get better, and we got some versatility to take a look at and a pass rush rep, one pass rush rep that I think showcases what we can expect from FEMI OLADEJO going forward. It's a long one here, so strap in. As we always do, let's step into the film room. First rep from FEMI OLADEJO showcases his versatility right out of the gate. FEMI is a former off-ball linebacker in college who transitioned to be an edge rusher late in his college career. Is going to be a full-time edge rusher now, but that doesn't mean that the Titans still can't tap into that off-ball linebacker versatility. And the Titans are a 3-4 team in their base setup. But what FEMI allows them to do, something that I thought Harold Landry's versatility allowed the Titans to do for a long time, is they can line up in a 4-man front with 3 linebackers and be a 4-3 because FEMI can function as an off-ball linebacker. But if they needed to, what they could do is they could slide Draymond Jones down and slide everybody down, roll FEMI over here onto the line of scrimmage, and now you have a 3-4 alignment. So you can change your front based on what you see from the offense when you have a player like FEMI who can do a little bit of everything. And the versatility is on display even more when you see what he does in the play where he drops into coverage right here and he looks smooth and he looks fluid, and that's something that you should be able to count on from FEMI looking at what he did do in college. Looks comfortable, ball doesn't really come his way. Really great catch there by Jalen McMillan, but good job by FEMI. Classic run play here from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on play number 2. They're just going to run duo up front. That's 2 double teams up front and then a bunch of one-on-one blocks across the line of scrimmage. FEMI is going to take on 2 guys at once. This tight end is going to come here in motion. And FEMI's going to take on both these guys with both his hands. You can see he puts a hand in either of their chests, trying to slow down the inside guy from getting up to the second level, but also take on his guy at the same time. There he goes. Makes contact with both, and I think he does a really good job of holding his ground right here. He doesn't give ground, even though he's contacted by 2 guys. He bends his one-on-one matchup. The outside tight end bends him back inside so that he can keep a firm edge. And the guys who are supposed to do the job with where the run goes on the inside do the job. Now, FEMI didn't shed his blocker and jump into the backfield for a tackle for loss like something spectacular, but he did his job, and run defense is about a bunch of guys doing their job. And look, you got a double team here, double team trying to happen here, guy sliding up to the linebacker, 87 looking to get up to the second level. Timmy Horn does a good job of holding his ground right here. And then James Williams comes in. He's the one guy who's not being blocked right now, and he comes and makes the play as well. So good job by FEMI OLADEJO doing his job, holding an edge, and the other guys on his team are supposed to make the play, and they do. Going back to the first play where we talked about the versatility in the front that FEMI OLADEJO allows, now you see the other version of that. Draymond Jones is here this time. They are slid over on the defensive line, and FEMI is back on the line of scrimmage. But again, like we saw in the first play, we have FEMI dropping into coverage. So what we're going to see from FEMI here is he's going to drop into a curl flat. Again, he looks very, very comfortable. The Titans run what I think is a cover 6 with a quarter here. Then you're going to have a deep half right here. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is going to sit in the flat. You're going to have some hook defenders over the middle as well, but Femi's versatility on display, and not only his personal skill set versatility, but the versatility it allows the Titans front because of his skill set. Fluid dropping back into coverage. Nobody over on his side, no action on his side. Again, a really great catch by Emeka Egbuka. The Buccaneers made a few plays in contested catch situations overall on defense that were really good. Do want to point out one quick thing since we're here. The Titans, I believe what is happening is in their cover 4, they'll have some man match concepts, and since this guy is pushing vertically, that means that this turns into man coverage for this guy, and that's why he runs with him across the field. I think that might be it. We're learning together on the fly, but I think that's what the Titans are teaching in their defense. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the season and how they play this stuff, but they do a lot of cover 4 principles that turn into man that I've been learning about recently by watching Denard Wilson's defense. Would have been a sack by Draymond Jones too, I think, if the field wasn't garbage, but nonetheless, good catch by Emeka Egbuka. So on this one, I would say this was not a great play from Femi Oladejo. This would be the first bad play that I guess I have seen from him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, again, when they talk about running vanilla stuff in the preseason, this is what they mean. Their base run duo. They're going to run another duo up the middle here, and Femi's going to have a one-on-one matchup with number 41. And quite frankly, he doesn't do a good job of getting his hands in the chest of the tight end. Think about how you were taught to stack and shed. It's simple. You keep your hands in the chest with extended arms on the blocker so that they can't get in your chest. They can't destroy your leverage. You keep them right here. You use your eyes to read the defense, and when the time comes, after stacking them with your hands, you shed them to the side and you make the play. That's how you want it to be done. And listen, I'm no NFL player or anything like that, but you can tell that Femi just doesn't get his hands in the right place. Look, he's a little outside right there. Tight end gets into his chest, and now he can't get him off of it. He's totally removed from the play. Like before, we're talking about setting a strong edge and a firm edge, but Femi gets driven out of there and has no control at that point. So that's a bad rep for Femi for sure. On this one, Femi's down here as the backside edge, and his job here is just to contain the backside, make sure there's no cutbacks or anything like that. So this may not look like a very good play by him, but he's getting double teamed right there by 15 in the tight end. The play goes to the totally opposite direction. So I don't think that Femi does a bad job here. He's containing the backside. This isn't his job to stop this play. He's getting double teamed. I know the video's being wonky right there, but he's getting double teamed, and he's just trying to contain the backside and look at the front side. Front side does their job. Like, I don't think that this is a bad play by Femi. It may look like it when you're watching it because it's like he's out there all the way, he's doing nothing, but he's just containing his side and doing his job. Sitting there watching. And then the front side does their job and ends the play. Now, this is the kind of stuff that I don't think people are seeing when they're watching the game. Femi Oladejo destroys this run play we're about to see right here. Like, he absolutely ruins it. So this is a zone run from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where the line is going to be going this way. Zone run. Going to be a backside guy coming back, split flow action to come to the backside like you see all the time in the NFL in these zone run blocking schemes with the run going away from Femi Oladejo. Well, what he does is he sees that, and this is the point I'm going to be making throughout the video. People are saying that Femi Oladejo played poorly because of what they saw him do, but it's part of the technique of the Titans defense. So what Femi did throughout the game is squeeze down. They wanted him to shoot inside and squeeze down on these inside zone runs that Tampa Bay is going to run. And watch him overpower the right tackle right here to the point where he disrupts the split flow block, gets off of both of them, and then makes the tackle. This is a great example of why Femi Oladejo can be incredibly disruptive on the line of scrimmage. Boom. Blows up 60, takes on the split flow early, and then goes over to make the tackle. Again, I think that people see certain plays that they think are bad that aren't actually bad because you don't know what technique the Titans are trying to execute. And there are plays that are good that get missed because it's in the trenches and it's hard to see. Watch this. Shove 60. Out of place totally. 60's totally out of place now. takes the split flow block that was supposed to be cutting off backside defenders right here. 60's disoriented so the linebacker can make the play. And then Femi gets off of this block that's on him right now, swoops around, and makes the tackle. This is a great play. Bam. That is a good play by FEMI OLADEJO right there, and a good example of what he can do from day one early on for the Titans. So we get our first pass rush rep, and I know that's where a lot of people are going to be looking. FEMI OLADEJO needs to be the pass rusher, but that is the part of his game that needs to develop the most. He can be physical and strong and set the edge and run defense and have good pursuit and all of that stuff, but the pass rush moves are what's going to take time to develop. And here, you know, they're going to pull the PFF stats and say he had no pressures and all that, but you see Femi right here, and what he's going to do is, like I'm going to talk about through the video, he slants inside because the Titans blitz this player. So the idea is Femi slants inside, pulls the offensive line this way, and it may leave a free runner to this guy right here. That's what the Titans are trying to execute, okay? And Femi slants inside and then gets double teamed by both those guys that he's supposed to take. He did his job. He took both those guys, and he's getting double teamed by him. And what he does here, it's going to be hard for him to beat these two guys like this. He continues to drive. He continues to push the pocket. He continues to play with effort. Look at that. Relentless effort, pushing the pocket back, doing the best I can against two guys. I'm getting held. Look at him. He's getting held right there. Look, his jersey is literally up. The guy's holding him so that he can't rip inside of him. You're not going to beat double teams all the time, especially as early in your development as Femi is. But he continued to play with effort and energy and push the pocket back and use his length and his strength. And then the quarterback escaped the pocket, and he continued his effort to try to hunt him down. Like, this isn't a beautiful rep or anything, but it's not like this is a bad job by FEMI OLADEJO. He does his job here. He slants inside. He takes two. He continues to play with effort, energy, finish, length. He's getting held. He's literally being held right there. That's a penalty, and the refs are just looking at it. But whatever. Look at that. He's holding his jersey up in the air. And then as soon as the quarterback takes off, he goes after him. Nothing wrong with that. So here is where we really get to where I think the misconception on Femi's performance is coming in. And it's about the technique the Titans are executing here. And look, I am no high-level NFL play caller, designer, anything like that. Just a guy taking stuff that I've learned and trying to pass it down. So what it looks like the Titans are doing here, in my opinion, is what I would call squeeze and scrape. It's a technique that I've seen used with mobile quarterbacks when you're defending the read option and things like that. But what happens is the Buccaneers are running zone. So zone runs are based on a lot of double teams. This is duo. You want a double team here, a double team here. Okay, and to disrupt those double teams at the line of scrimmage, what you can do is you can have everybody on the D-line slant inside. So it's hard to create a double team because you're so bunched up. It basically becomes one-on-one. And then if you scrunch the D-line in, it's going to scrunch the blockers in, and the running back's not going to be able to go up the middle. So he's going to have two choices, bounce this way or bounce this way. And this is where the scrape comes in. So this is the squeeze from the defensive line, and then the linebackers scrape outside. And in my opinion, the Titans are testing their philosophy against zone runs, against duo, these inside zone runs. The Titans are testing their philosophy with their guys. This is how we want to attack offenses who do this. They saw what the Buccaneers ran in practice all week, so they came out and they're like, this will be our game plan against teams who do stuff like this. We want to squeeze down in the middle, or maybe it's not going to be their game plan and they're trying to test to find out if it is. But either way, you can see in the way that the defensive line shoots inside, including Jihad Ward, not just Femi. So look, Femi comes inside and people are saying, oh, he's losing contain. He's losing the edge. He's shooting inside. He's freelancing. He's trying to shoot gaps. No, look, Jihad Ward shot inside as well. And now all of the blockers are right here, and the linebackers just have to run. This is like when Cody Barton says that you get to play free in this system. The system is set up for the linebackers to run and chase and to not be on blocks and to just be able to fly around and be athletes and make plays. So it's set up right here. Look, the linebacker's just got to read the running back, and when he makes his move, they're good. And Femi does his job of crashing inside. He's not freelancing. He's not making a mistake. That's literally what he is supposed to do. And in my opinion, this play is not Femi's fault for giving up the edge. It's Cedric Gray for getting too far up inside, which allows a lane outside for Rachaad White. And Gabe Jeudy-Lawley is going to be coming from off the screen, and he can't get off the block right there. And then there's an outside corner in Jalen Kimber, who I think got held on the play, but he gives up contain too. So if this play is anybody's fault, it's not Femi Oladejo for crashing inside like he's supposed to on a squeeze and scrape. It's Cedric Gray for getting caught too far inside, and now he's flat-footed and beat to the edge. It's Gabe Jeudy-Lawley for not being able to get off a one-on-one and contain the edge, and it's Jalen Kimber for not being able to contain the edge on the outside. So this is the type of stuff where it looks like Femi Oladejo is messing up, but I just don't think that he is. Again, squeeze and scrape. And this is my theory. I don't know that Denard Wilson is coaching. I don't know what they're telling them to do, but just looking at it and trying to figure out what the plan is, that's what it seems is. Another one, Femi Oladejo is going to slant inside, and watch James Williams hover to the outside. That's what leads me to believe this is the technique the Titans are trying to execute against the Bucs run game, which makes Femi slanting inside not look so bad. So Femi slants inside that gap. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to force the tackle to stay inside. And then there's nobody on James Williams. And now James Williams is free. And guess who makes the play? James Williams. Well, sort of. But then Femi works back. You know what I mean? Like, this is how it's supposed to go. So Femi stuck inside. James Williams right there. Would love to see him make that tackle. But then Femi gets off the block of 60 and comes back to make the tackle again. And people are saying that Femi played bad. I don't understand it. Now, it's funny that I say that because this next play is actually a bad play from Femi Oladejo. He's right here, and he gets caught off guard. I don't know if he thought, I think he might think this right tackle false started, but he's like pointing at the right tackle as the play is starting, and he's definitely caught off guard. But that's his fault. That's not an excuse. That's his fault. Look, you can see he like points up right at the... See, he's like 2 steps slow, caught off guard, and doesn't do a good... Look at his hand placement. Up here by the helmet on the that needs to be in the chest of the offensive lineman. Hand usage and hand placement in the pass rush and in run defense seems like it's going to be Femi Oladejo's biggest jump. If he can get his hands better, then he's going to be able to use his athleticism better. He's going to be able to have... Now, look, he gets settled. He gets his arms straight so that he's off of him, but he's just never able to shed, and the guy gets past him. So you just got to do a better job than that. This is a play that I don't think is very good for Femi. He sets the edge, and maybe you could argue that he's setting the edge to turn the running back inside to his help, and that, you know, the other guys who missed the tackles are at fault, but I don't think that's a great job setting the edge from Femi either. He gets pushed back too far, and he was caught off guard. Now, I think the Titans try something else. So this time, you see James Williams come up in here, and you see Jihad Ward keep an edge rather than flying inside. Now, filling up the inside is the linebacker coming through, and then Femi's right here, and he just holds his edge. So this isn't, you know, a great play. This isn't a bad play. This is just him doing his job on the backside of the run, holding his edge. Turns it back inside, edge wall swarm. So Femi sets the edge, bam, drives his guy back inside. He has control, forces the running back inside to where the wall is, and then you swarm and you tackle. It's an old Mike Vrabalism right there. Edge wall swarm, baby, but it's a good one. More versatility on display from Femi Oladejo here, and I like what he does. He takes a little pump step forward to draw a double team, but then he drops back into coverage. So I love, again, the versatility that he can bring in this type of stuff because he occupies 2 blockers of this play action pass or this max protection here. Occupied 2 of them, and then he drops back into coverage. So he can do both of that. He can threaten as a pass rusher and take blocks, and then drop back into coverage himself. Leads to a sack on the opposite side for Jihad Ward. Good job by Cam Horsley here. Let's just check out the rep. Might as well. Cam Horsley right here, number 72. And then Jihad Ward right here who makes the sack. But I think Horsley, 72, is the one who really sets this up. Look how Horsley drives. Inside rip. Spin off. I'm on ya. And then Jihad Ward cleans it up. All right, so this is a learning situation for Femi. Remember, he's been a linebacker before, so being on the edge and kind of reading things from that level is something he's going to have to get used to. Quick screen. He reads it, and look at the pursuit. Boom. Gets out there to get it. That's what I like here. The effort, the pursuit. Remember, that off-ball linebacker experience allows him to do this kind of stuff. Okay, it's outside. Now I'm going to get out here and help make a play. And now the numbers, it was 2-on-2 with 2 blockers, but now Femi's here. Numbers are good. Good job by Gabe Judy Lawley getting off and making a play too. To me, this is the only real pass rush rep that we saw from Femi all night long. This was the only one-on-one, throw a pass rush move, how did it go, pass rush rep that we saw all night from Femi, and I'm hoping that he gets a lot more than that in the rest of the preseason games. But what he's going to try to do here on 60, he is going to try, and I want you to notice how he flips his hands, okay? He flips his hands right before the snap. Let's go back just a little bit so you can see it. Bam, there we go. Look how he flips his hands. Boom. That's because the move he's going to try is he's going to come off the line of scrimmage and he's going to try to use his inside arm to knock down the outside arm of the offensive tackle. And then he would have the edge, and then he can explode and use his speed to get to the quarterback. That's what he's attempting to do right here. But I think, and I'm no pass rush guru by any means, but I think that maybe he threw it too early. But here you go. He jumps, tries to knock it down, doesn't, goes to a rip move, doesn't really get anywhere. All right, and we knew that the pass rush moves would be what would take the longest to develop or needed the most development. So watch how he tries to throw the rip, tries to club down there on the outside arm. Outside arm doesn't work, and now he's stuck. Now he's like, okay, my initial move didn't work. Now he tries to rip up inside of the offensive tackle's arm to win that edge, and it doesn't necessarily work either. Now, good effort here. He continues to go. You could maybe say he's being held right there. He didn't get a holding call all night, though. The referees were maybe ready to go, but either way, he tried the first move maybe a little too early, because you can go back and look. He isn't able to get his arm to the outside long enough, and the offensive lineman is able to get his outside arm back to the outside. So Femi wasn't able to knock it down, and maybe that's he's throwing it too early. Or maybe he just needs to be stronger and better with his hand right now because he's on top of his elbow, and if he can rake that arm down with strength on that jump that he's trying to do, he can win the edge, okay? And this is probably a move that they're working on with him, and if he could develop this with his length and his strength and his arms and his build and then explode around that edge, this could be his first really good move, but it's not quite ready yet. Again, we talked about the mental aspect of playing on the edge now and reading and diagnosing that stuff from a different position. Things happen quicker on the first line than they do the second line and then the third line, you know what I mean? So for Femi right here, he's just going to read this stuff quicker and quicker as he gets used to it, but they run a quick screen here, and he's just not quite, like the offensive linemen fly by him, and look how far he gets up. So he's just not quite used to reacting as quickly to that stuff. I think in the future, as he gets more reps, he'll recognize the offensive tackle just letting him go by. Like right there, he'll recognize it instead of right there. You know what I mean? But that's stuff that'll come with time. He's learning, he's progressing, it's a new position, and good pursuit though. Look, he gives effort to get back into the play. That's what matters right there, but he'll learn those things and get more used to it. I'm going to do a James Williams film breakdown, I think, tomorrow. I'm going to put that out and trying to work on that. He played a lot more snaps than Femi and Cam Ward did, but he should have had an interception on this play, and this is a trap play where the Titans are trying to get an interception, and James Williams did not run it properly. Otherwise, it would have been a pick. So what happens is you see a blitz come right here, and then these guys kind of sink in right here, and James Williams is supposed to roll over this way because they're expecting slants from this side, and that's what they get. So James Williams is supposed to roll over this way, and Femi rolls back to where James Williams is, and James Williams just doesn't get further enough across the field like he's supposed to, or this would be an interception for him. But Femi does a good job of showing versatility, dropping off the line of scrimmage. Look, he gives a little step forward first, boom, to show and hold the right tackle, and then look, so the blitz comes right here, And when blitz comes, what do? You throw hot. And where's the best place to throw? At the blitz. That's where the guy is vacating space. So they want to throw this slant or this slant right here. Well, this guy's supposed to shoot down here, and James Williams, who's still sitting here flat-footed, is supposed to, boom, dart over this way to cut off this inside slant window. Mike Brown rolls this way. Femi rolls this way to replace. You got one-on-one over here. This should have been an interception if James Williams read this quicker. This play is meant to trap right here, and it works perfect because look where Trask throws. Inside slant. And if James Williams is here on this hash, instead of just leaving here late, this is an easy interception. And you know, Marcus Harris, the Titans rookie out here, watch his reaction to this. Look at him. Oh, man. Because that should have been an easy interception for James Williams based on the trap that they ran with the blitz. Throw hot at the blitz, and boom, dart. You got it. But James Williams is late, slow, and it's a completion instead. See? It's right there. The window closes. Not Femi, but thought I'd point that out for you guys. Here's another example of what I think is squeeze and scrape and Femi Oladejo being unfairly blamed for what he's doing. So Femi slants in right here hard to the inside, okay? That absolutely happens as the Buccaneers bounce one to the outside. So Femi slants in hard, and he's pinned inside, no doubt about it, all right? That's probably not what he's supposed to be doing, but the slant inside is, and then the linebacker is supposed to scrape outside. The slot corner gets pinned inside on a one-on-one block by the wide receiver, and then Jalen Kimber takes a terrible angle and gives up contain as well. So I think this play is one where people look at it and say that, you know, Femi was the one that made the mistake here, and this is a bad play for Femi, but I actually think, look, right here, he's telling him, like, hey, make sure you get over here. Make sure you get over here. He's trying to tell Gabe Jeudy-Lally right now. Make sure you're over there. Femi slants in. There's no way that Femi's just freelancing right there and making that up, and that he's supposed to hold his gap right here. Instead, he's just shooting inside to freelance and make a play. There's no way. Gabe Jeudy-Lally is slow on this. Cedric Gray is slow on this, just like earlier when we talked about it. And then Kimber with a terrible angle. He was atrocious in run defense, holding contain. Like, that's not a bad play from Femi Oladejo, in my opinion. I think this is a great play from Femi on the goal line. So he's right here one-on-one with this offensive tackle. He does a great job of stacking and getting his hands in his chest. Or the guard comes out to get him. But look, one-on-one, hands in the chest. He's got good length and extension. He's in control. He holds the point. He sheds, and he makes the play. This is a really good play from Femi Oladejo here. Stack, shed, make the tackle on the goal line. Again, I not only do I not think Femi did not play bad, I thought Femi played pretty solid. He made some plays out there. He did some things that have me excited. Stack, shed, get to the ball carrier. Great rep. This play right here looks like Femi didn't do a good job because he's on the edge. Femi is literally setting this edge. He's protecting this edge right here so that there's no cutback, there's no reverse, nobody leaks out to try to catch a pass or anything like that. So he's just doing his job. The run doesn't go at him. It goes the other way. That's the focus of the run, and he just needs to hold the backside. They go up the middle. Look at Femi. He's just watching. His job isn't to shoot the gap one way or the other and give a lane to the running back. He's just meant to hold his thing, and once he realizes he's inside, then he cuts in to make the play. But he's doing his job right there. This isn't, him being lazy, sitting on the backside, not doing anything like I've seen some people say. He's just holding his gap, and look at him. He's got hands in the chest, full extension, in control, eyes in the backfield watching. And now that the running back is being hit, he's not cutting outside. Now I'm going to get in here and swarm. And another run play here to cap things off where it looked like Femi did a bad job, but in reality, I think Femi did a good job. So the Bucs are going to run a backside pull. They're going to have a puller come across to get Femi. And what Femi does is, and what he should be doing is, he crashes in against the puller. So if you crash in against the puller and you meet them early, it's going to eliminate the lane the running back has to run through. And quite frankly, that's what happens. But once again, in my opinion, Cedric Gray doesn't make the play. crash in. It's just Femi, crash right here, and Cedric Gray filling this gap right here. These are the guys that need to make this play. All right, the puller is coming across for Femi to meet him, and he does. Bam. Gives no ground to the puller, literally stonewalls him. And then, look, Cedric Gray needs to scrape over here and make this play. The blockers did their job and kept him free. Femi squeezes down the lane and kept him free. Cedric Gray, the free linebacker, needs to do his job. And he doesn't. He gets bowled through. Bam. Graziano as well gets pushed in with him. But Graziano got here 2 days ago. Cedric Gray is the guy I have expectations for. Cedric Gray gets bowled through, and it's a touchdown for Tampa Bay. That's a good job by Femi and not a good job by Cedric Gray, which, quite frankly, on a bunch of these runs that we've talked about, that's been the answer. So you could say Femi played bad if you want to, but I don't think the tape shows that. All right, Titans fans, that's going to do it for today's film breakdown on Tic Tac Titans, taking a look at Femi Oladejo again. I think there's some misconceptions about how he played and why he played poorly and the plays that people perceived as bad plays for him. Ultimately, only Denard Wilson could know the true answers, but that's my take on what happened out there. Let me know your thoughts on how Femi Oladejo played down below. That's going to do it for today's film breakdown. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed, throw a thumbs up on the video, throw a tighten up down in the chat. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and as I tell you every episode, tighten up.